This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in my Hulkamaniacs to another episode of Heel Talk. Remember to say your prayers and eat your vitamins. I'm joined with the Macho Man, the Mega Powers over here. Soapy Muffin, Soapy, how we doing, brother? Like how I did a Hulk.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I was doing like a Hulk mixed with the Macho Man, Randy.
I was gonna say it.
Savage.
I'm like, this is a one-man Mega Powers.
How we doing today, Soaps?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Sorry about the last-minute camera move. I was looking at my camera and I had like an OCD moment. Now you guys get to see the half part of a shelf that's up there.
So that's the thing. Before we start, first off, if you're new, welcome to Heel Talk. If you're returning, welcome back. It's been quite a bit, Soapy, since you and I have done an episode. All my fault. Well, not my fault, but it's on my end. The last episode you guys saw of us, Soapy and I were in the same room after he returned. One of the greatest moments of my life that I will never forget. But since then, the Christmas holiday happened, and I had a situation where, so we went over to Dave's to record in person. That meant the entire area that you guys don't see behind my camera, behind my desk, was all cleared out. Lights not there, camera not there. And because I still live at home, my dad decided, hey, here's some open space. Like, you guys also don't see this side of my room for a reason, because there's just stuff stacked on the side of my room. Like, Soapy, I'm looking. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 boxes of yarn next to me. I have 2 big crates of candles next to me, and an assortment of other things. I also had shoes before I shoved them in the closet. Not mine, I'm gonna say. I'm not a yarn guy or a candle guy. But long story short, things were put behind my desk. It took a while to get it all out. Now we are back. My camera is obviously back. Not exactly like I wanted it, but it's better. It works. So we're back doing Heel Talk. Remember to, if you want to get these a couple days early, become a Patreon. That link down below. Patrons get these on Thursday. Everyone sees them on Monday on YouTube, on iTunes, Spotify podcast. I think it's Apple Podcasts. I keep saying iTunes because I'm a boomer. But you can also catch us out on Spotify and Apple. Rate us there as well. And remember to comment down below. Let us know what you think about anything we talk about today. Soapy, I got an important question for you for this one, though.
Okay.
We are 2 days in a week, 9 days as we record this, away from the single greatest pay-per-view event of the WWE calendar season. Ricky's favorite pay-per-view.
I know you're coming up on Crown Jewel.
No. No. The Royal Rumble.
Doing 2 of them?
Well, they do 2, or no, they did the Elimination Chamber over there and Night of Champions.
Yeah.
Are we set for another Crown Jewel?
We're gonna keep getting Crown Jewel. As long as they pay money, we'll get a Crown Jewel.
Now I gotta look. I have my phone. I like how I said to you before we started, oh, what we're talking about today, I don't need like my tablet in front of me. No, instead I'm just gonna have my phone. Let's see, 2023. There does not seem to say one for 2024. Oh, top Google search, Crown Jewel 2024. No, not what that is. Not what that is. Crown Jewel 2024. This is from Smark Out Moment. Has not been confirmed. That was in January 1st of 2024. So hopefully we don't get another Crown Jewel. But the Royal Rumble, Soapy, the time where WrestleMania, the storylines come into play. Somebody does this,
Everyone points to the sign every week.
Sometimes people point at the sign and it doesn't go off, and then they get mad and they start hearing voices in their head, and you got to be careful because they might RKO someone out of nowhere. Male,
every
female,
time
doesn't
voices
matter.
pop up in the head, someone gets RKO'd. You guys got to be careful.
By the way, funniest reels I've seen, I've sent them to our group chat, where it's just it's a clip of Randy, and it's like someone voicing over like, "Oh, I bet you won't RKO Randy. Come on, Randy, do it. Oh, he did it.
Yeah.
Oh, he listened to us." Randy, you gotta calm down, Randy, calm down. You gotta calm this down right now. But this is the time where careers are set in motion. Storylines are set in motion. I'm going to ask you this question for both the men or the women. I will ask you, which one do you want to hit first, though? The men's rumble or the women's rumble?
I think we should do women's, because I think we both agree on who's going to win it.
Or could win it. I don't know who I'll say this for the women. I don't know who I would pen to paper mark down. I have an idea of who should.
I do. I think I know.
So I'll ask you the question for the women first. Who needs the Rumble win most? That's how I'm going to phrase it.
Well, the person that I have that I think is going to win it all, I think is the one who needs it, which I think is Bayley. Okay. Mostly just because the fact of, one, the 4 horsewomen have always been, incredibly important to the women's division. They're the cornerstone of the whole damn thing for the most part.
Yes. Since the basal start of the women's division that we have now, which brought us out of the Divas era.
Yeah, essentially the women's evolution is entirely thankful to the 4 horsewomen. And one, she seems the most primed to win it just because of the fact of, the impending doom of her getting kicked out of Judgment Day. Or not Judgment Day. Sorry, I was looking at a thing and I saw Best Group and I saw Judgment Day. And
Damage Control.
Yeah, Damage Control. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's the impending thing of she's probably going to get kicked out of Damage Control. And it kind of just sets up a pretty easy thing. Especially with the fact of, the rumored returns of Mercedes Moné, wherever the hell she's going. If she comes back, it makes it real easy to figure out that, that's a pretty easy person for her to team up with to, go against Damage Control. Also, then plus with the rumored return of Naomi, I forget what her name in TNA was. It's like Trinity, I think.
You're right, Trinity. I almost said Athena, but that is that's Ember Moon.
Yeah, that's Ember Moon. Yeah. So with those 2 rumored to be returning, it'd be pretty easy to set up for a match between, they have 2 groups fight. Especially as the fact of and I don't know if this is just how I've always felt about Bayley. Bayley's always kind of felt like the weak link of the 4 horsewomen to me. To me, I think she's I would never say at any point she was the best babyface of them, because
right now she's the weak link of them. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Sasha has always been my least favorite, but that's me personally. I think right now, though, Bayley is the weak link because Charlotte is Charlotte. Becky, the man, just shot her. I would say Becky
skyrocketed.
When it started, Becky was probably the one that everyone was like, oh, it's the 4 horsemen and Becky. Becky's the 4th. But the man has shot her up to superstar levels.
Yeah, to where she's arguably the biggest one now.
Yeah.
But because to me, it's just, she's always kind of just felt like the weak link, which to me, I think kind of leads a lot of people to, look down at Bayley and be like, oh, well, she's not that good. And it's Bayley's really good. And I think this could be the situation of, you give Bayley her WrestleMania moment. You allow her to, win on the biggest stage of them all. Granted, I could also be talking out my butt right now. And just be she's already had a Mania moment, and I just don't remember it.
It's not, to me, it's not, the women's is something where they're either going to do 2 things. One of which I could see them doing, but I would not do yet, and that's have Jade Cargill win it. She shows up at the Rumble. That's her debut. She wins it, challenges Rhea, and then beats Rhea. Or loses to Rhea. But I think if she's challenging Rhea, she's going to beat Rhea. The whole reason I would have Jade Cargill challenge Rhea and not Io is no matter what, there's a storyline on SmackDown for the women. I think it is going to be Bayley versus Io for the belt at Mania, Damage Control splits up because, and this is why, like, I think Bayley's going to win the Rumble with you, and I think doesn't need it, like you said, doesn't need the WrestleMania moment, but the story's there. This is how you get her to challenge Io and break up Damage Control, because one of the things that I will piggyback off of you remind me what you just said with Bayley being a face. You said that she wasn't the best face. Is that what you said? Or
yeah, it was. So for a while, like, she was the easiest to root for because she had like the Bayley buddies and stuff like that. But it was like as soon as Becky took off as the man, like it was hard not to root for Becky at her peak.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Bayley might not be the best face, but she's a better face than she is a heel. I have, since the beginning of the heel turn, have had the same thought of, it's kind of differed a little bit or differentiated a little bit because time goes on, you get to see things. But I've always had the thought when it comes to Bayley and comes to her being a heel, the way they started it was perfect. It was the best you could have started it. Have her slash up the Bayley buddies, have her the next day or it was the next SmackDown, I think it was, where you had her basically with a segment with Sasha Banks, just torch the fans, just torch them. I was like, oh, this is perfect. You could blame the pandemic for some of this because obviously it's harder to be a heel when there's no fans to play off of. But I just felt like the storylines and then what they made Bayley's heel character, I was like, oh, this is not good. Then it kind of got revitalized with Damage Control where it's like, oh, we're kind of trying to save this. It's not the worst. But I still think Bayley's heel turn will be looked at as one of the things where you go, man, we had something there. It could have been way more special than it was. But yet again, I will throw out there, pandemic wrestling did happen within that, and how much did that affect that? But I'll say that she's way better as a face than a heel, and you got to turn her face. I feel like we have to turn her face sooner than later because Becky's kind of a tweener. She's kind of a face, but she kind of does some heelish things sometimes. Charlotte's a heel. Charlotte will always be a heel. Never let her do the big show thing of like, oh, is she a heel or is she a face? No, she's a heel.
Yeah. Well, especially just the fact of, if I'm remembering off the top of my head, and I'll pull up the roster just so I'm not talking out.
Yeah, I have the roster in front of me on my phone.
Yeah, so because I'm pulling up the roster for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Alba Fire.
Face.
Do you want me to name the SmackDown women?
Face. Oh, I got the list pulled up. As you can see by my face lighting up because I've just been flashbanged by the website. Bianca,
she's still a face right now. Asuka, I don't know. Asuka's in Damage Control, so she's kind of a heel.
Asuka's always kind of that weird, like, middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just looking at it, there's not a lot of face women in the division, or, like, on that brand, because it's
not a lot of women, period.
Yeah, to where it's like, you said, Bianca's the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like afterwards, it's like what? Shotzi's the next face, and then Zelina Vega. And it's like, mind you, I'm not saying this is a negative for any of these people. You know, personally, I'm not a giant fan of Shotzi.
Mm-hmm.
But like, fine. But like, the division needs like another face to kind of revitalize it, because the fact that realistically, Bianca half the time isn't even on SmackDown. She shows up on Raw more than anything. Remember?
Yeah.
Brand split never mattered.
Do you think we see, and this is kind of separate, do you think we see mainly for the women, do we see quite a bit of NXT call-ups Rumble-wise? Like, not just like, oh, they're in the Rumble and then they're back to NXT, but like, will we see like Roxanne Perez comes out for the Royal Rumble. Oh, this is her debut on the main roster. We're not waiting till Mania.
Some of them, I think so. I think Roxanne will stay down there for a while.
She's just the first face that like came to mind that's been there forever.
Yeah, it's because now let me pull up the NXT Women's Division.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just Tiffany
The only
Stratton
reason I'm pulling it up is just
is not a face. She's a heel.
Claire Davenport, I could see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once again, the problem is it's. I mean, Cora Jade getting hurt really threw a big wrench into a lot of
she
stuff.
got injured.
It's like looking through it.
Do you bring JC Jane or Gigi Dolan up?
I think they can stay down there for a little bit longer just because they have a couple more things to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we see any like pre WrestleMania call ups.
Okay.
It's like
unless like a Nikita Lyons comes back.
And she can go to Puerto
You don't like Nikita, I know that. That's why I threw it out there.
No. It's, and mind you, for anyone, it's not any of the political stuff. It's just, she stinks. I don't like her.
Well, yeah, you fall into the category of people on Twitter where it's like, name me one thing she's done in the ring, and you can't say her looks.
Yeah, it's like if you bring up that absolute dump truck of an ass, and you fell for it.
Yeah.
You fell into the old trick. Like, I think they wait a little bit, and it's just because right now it's kind of, the women's division NXT still, like, the tippity top of it still, like, defined. Of where it's like Roxanne, Cora Jade, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, you know, and kind of just like a few people here and there. Like, I could see if if Lyra loses the belt, she gets called up. I don't think we see any people debut pre-Mania, but I definitely think after Mania, we're going to see a few people get called up.
Anybody at all, men included, because the one that I've seen people kind of clamoring for is a Braun Breaker main roster debut starting with the Rumble.
I don't know. I feel like it's easier for him to just debut after Mania. To me, it's always one of those things where it's finding something for them to do, like on such a short notice is kind of like that's kind of, especially because like I don't know, his half got called up, half's not called up.
I think he's the one. If there's any, he's the one that gets called up.
I think it'd be him and Trick get called up.
Because like what else? And I know we're on the women right now, but because you mentioned Carmel, what else does he have to do in NXT?
I mean, it's test the heel run at this point.
I get, but wasn't he a heel to start with?
Technically, but it's really hard to boo Carmelo.
Yeah.
It's one of those of like, you can't really boo him. Like, obviously, like, you know, they're kind of, I mean, mind you, NXT's crowd, I will say this right now, is the best crowd in wrestling. Yeah. They are so good, and I love them. Because it's like during, because did you watch the most recent NXT
I didn't watch this week's yet, no. I saw the one thing I did see from it was, I guess Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin are in a tag team now. And are comedy gold, apparently.
In the Dusty Classic, yes, I love those two together. It's so good. But basically, you know, they're doing the Dusty Classic again, which it's really funny. There's like no actual tag teams in the Dusty Classic. It's a bunch of people just thrown together. And it's like, damn, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel. But like, so Trick and Mello are one of the teams that are in there. And it's basically, they come out to like both their themes. Like the crowd chants and does the whoop that Trick for Trick's part of the song. When Mello's comes on, they start booing him right afterwards. Or it's like, they're building up to it. The crowd knows it's going to happen. Yeah. But like, it's, mind you, and I've been on note of saying, I hate Booker T as a commentator 99% of the time.
You don't like Black
He got me with it. Black Snow. But no, like, it's, during that entrance, he got me to kind of like it a little bit because he started doing the ad-libs for Trick song, and then Mello comes, he's like, oh, man.
Oh, man.
And they kept switching back and forth, and he's like, can you guys stop? I'm trying to vibe.
I'm trying to vibe. Yeah, I mean, so here's one thing that I've been thinking while we're having this conversation. So I think we both agree Bayley wins the Rumble for the women. The only outlier in my mind is if they want Jade. If they want Jade to win it, I would not shoot Jade to the moon that quickly. Mainly, though, because I'm somebody that the one thing I hated about her in AEW was she's basically mid-card Roman, where it was TBS champ, lol, she wins, lol, she wins, lol, she wins. And I would like to see her kind of face adversity in WWE, have some actual, like, to me, I say actual story building, but yet again, I'm more of a WWE guy than an AEW guy, even though I don't hate either or. Question I have for you, though, and this is kind of piggybacking off the Rumble. Let's say Bayley wins the Rumble, challenges EO. You're Triple H. What do you do for Rhea at Mania? What's her storyline? Who does she face?
That falls into the weird thing, because it feels like they're building up to Becky Rhea Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the whole
Which is just going to mean Rhea retains.
I mean, it's one of those weird things of where it's like, I think if Rhea loses, it's at Mania.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, especially with the fact that they built Rhea up to be, like, the biggest women's wrestler in the company, and also arguably in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, depending just on which WWE women's wrestler you view as the top one of the company, is the best of the world at that point. But, like, it's one of those weird things of where, because, like, the whole story they're kind of doing with Becky actually has me really intrigued over, like, Becky's kind of in her own head at this point.
Yeah. Doubting
where
herself.
She's like, it's like, I don't know if I'm the best anymore, and the only way I can prove that is if I can beat you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I almost feel like that's the direction you go for her at Mania, and it's mostly because it kind of becomes a situation of, like, does Becky hang it up? Like, is Becky having thoughts of, I mean, mind you, and I'm just saying it, and I'm not wishing it, but, like, is Becky thinking about hanging it up and retiring?
Could
that's
be.
The thing of,
I mean, Seth might not be around forever. There's been rumors that they're talking about maybe, like, obviously it was their contracts are up, that they want to stay with WWE, that the next contract might not be forever, might be like a year or so. But, like, yet again with Seth, it's how much of that injury is a work or a shoot.
Yeah, I mean, with that injury, I don't think that one's super major. Just because, I mean, of how quickly he was able to stand up and kind of work through it still.
No, I'm just talking about every match. Seth Rollins in his back. You got to watch his back. Oh, the back.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been carrying the company on his back.
Yeah, I think that, like, it's definitely, if either one of those two retires, I do think it's Becky's going first.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, like, I think that's the direction you go with Rhea. And mind you, that's just with the assumption that Becky is going to hang it up. Obviously, if that's not the direction you're going, Becky probably will win at Mania.
Well,
and then we get that one last run from her.
I will say this. If you're going to do what you just said that you're going to do, you know what I would completely go with? I wouldn't have her win the Rumble then. Because if she's doubting herself going in, a Rumble, I would have her make... I'll ask you, which is better for the story of her doubting herself? Not making the Final Four or making the Final Four and losing?
I think the best way to make it is she's the last person to get eliminated.
That's okay. I was almost on that page. I was thinking Final Four, but then do that. Bayley eliminates her. You get horsewomen versus horsewoman. And then from Royal Rumble to the Chamber, it's just pure doubt. Becky goes to a dark place. But then she wins. You have like one of the chambers be like for the number one contender to face Rhea at Mania, and Becky wins it.
Yeah. I think it's entirely just dependent on what she wants to do. Like, if Becky wants to hang it up, and obviously, like I said, I'm not wishing that. Like, I love Becky. As much as at times where I'm like, okay, like, it kind of gets annoying when she's around sometimes, but, like, the product does just feel better when Becky's around.
Let me ask you.
It's like, I'm not wishing for an early retirement.
I'm going to pop in with a question. Don't mean to cut you off. I do, because I do it all the time. Just popped into my head. So, first question I'll ask you. Elimination Chamber is in Australia. Do you have Rhea? Rhea's got to be on the card, right?
Yeah, well, we'll either get Rhea or Grayson Waller will be one of the two.
Would you have Rhea on Elimination Chamber or wait till Mania?
I think what you could do is have Rhea defend her title in the chamber,
and Becky's a part of it.
Then have Becky in there.
Yes,
and she's like, once again, she's the person who gets pinned by Rhea at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else you throw in there. Just insert names here.
Raw superstars.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like what?
You could throw Indy. There's Indy Hartwell. Throw Ivy Nile in there. It seems like they're really high. Like Trips is really high on her right now, giving her some good spots. Don't put
And
Natalia. Don't put Natty in there. Don't put Natty anywhere near it. Nia Jax.
They won't. It feels like they'll have to put Nia or Piper in there just because they need someone. And mind you, I say this in the nicest way I can when I say it. They need someone big to go through the cage door. Well, it happens every year at this point.
Piper also, because isn't she Australian? No. Is she English? She's English, not Australian.
Yeah, she's English.
Shayna Baszler. Yeah, so I like Shayna. Shayna's been done dirty since she's been on the main roster.
Yeah, because, so what? Have the main... I mean, basically, you can have it be, just a bunch of people that Rhea's fought for the belt.
Yeah.
It's you could put Zoe, Becky, Shayna... I don't exactly know every person she's fought for the title, because I'm going to be completely honest, I half remember her matches, because I just get on the ground and start barking like a dog the second they start.
So recently, at Survivor Series, it was Zoe. She had one against Ivy Nile on Raw. Shayna, that dates back to NXT. You have...
she won the NXT title from.
Becky for the storyline. And then what? One more? You just need one random? I
mean, if Tegan Nox is healthy again, you could throw her in there.
Nikki Cross. I mean,
if they ever want to use Candice LeRae ever.
Her and Indy are in a tag team. The Way is back.
Oh, yippee!
Because they beat Chelsea Green and Piper Niven on Raw, I think, last week.
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, we didn't see it because we were in Discord and Jake was streaming it, obviously, and Jake don't watch that. Jake's like, we don't watch tag team wrestling. Yeah. We don't watch women's tag team wrestling. Where I'm like,
okay, come on. Okay.
That's why we didn't see it, because we're watching something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because also as well, for that last spot, if you want to give the spot to someone that it's okay, we're going to see if you can handle, when we put you in more responsibility. If they want to believe, can Maxine Dupree go to that level? You could put her in the match. I think the only reason I'm kind of hesitant to want to put Tegan in there is just because,
injury.
Tegan kind of has the problem of every time she's in a match, she gets hurt. And I say that in the nicest way I can. I love Tegan.
Yeah.
But, Tegan Nox gets hurt every time I turn around. And I hate it.
Bad. I love Tegan Nox too.
Yeah, it sucks. Tegan Nox is super good, and then it's just she gets hurt all the time, and it's dude, come on. I think have her defend it there. Once again, Becky's the last person to get pinned. Kind of feeding into that self-doubt, and then Rhea gives her the pity, "Oh, fine, I'll beat you at Mania," or however that goes. And then just have them fight at Mania.
I'm just gonna let you sit in this moment for a second.
Yeah, no, I realized real quick I gave up halfway.
You were not doing an Australian accent at all.
Yeah, it wasn't even close to it. That was
a dingo ate your baby. Shrimp on the barbie.
Becky, the dingo's gonna eat your baby.
It's more British than Australian.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're one of the side characters in Peaky Blinders.
British accent. I'm a Peaky Blinder, Becky.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I do think that Bayley is the ultimate winner of it. I think having then to go with Rhea, I do think that having Becky be the person makes sense. Because like I said, it's entirely dependent. Just if Becky wants this to be her last match,
yeah.
Then obviously, because and the whole thing is just it's always that weird when wrestlers retire, they don't really retire half the time. It's I'm taking a break and maybe I retire, and they come back 5 weeks later.
But Becky's different. She having a kid and we don't know. Yet again, I'm not putting things out there, but we don't know if her and Seth are talking about having another one. How big of a family they want. That's the thing where women and male wrestlers are different. To where it's male wrestlers, it can be oh, cool, kids on the way, I'm going to go continue to wrestle.
Yeah, they can be 45 and they're I got more in me.
Yeah,
and it's women's wrestlers tend to kind of retire earlier because that's when you start a family.
I had the conversation with someone this past week of Alexa Bliss, to where it's will we ever see Alexa Bliss in a ring again? Not only because of her wanting to start a family, have kids, but then on the other side, the last time she was wrestling for WWE, wasn't putting great storylines. Now, that was pre Triple H. That was the Vincent McMahon Triple H, the Fiend WWE. But I said the McMahon Triple H. That should have been McMahon WWE. Yeah. It wasn't Triple H, so like I don't know, but like that's a good point of like
it's a bit of column A, bit of column B.
Will we see Alexa Bliss again, even because of stuff like that?
I think so, because I mean, honestly, I don't know, like if she's already had the kid or not. I don't keep up with pregnant wrestlers. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying like to make fun of people who keep up with that stuff. That's not shit I need to know about.
Yeah, the only thing, and yet again, heard about it because it was like the whole wrestling world was like, whoa, like T's and P's, thoughts and prayers. Was the last thing I heard about Alexa Bliss was trying to have a kid, had a miscarriage, which is awful. And then it's like after that, I didn't really hear if like, I thought maybe that I heard she was pregnant again, but like yet again, like you said, that's not what we talk about. We talk about wrestlers. Like whatever they want to do outside of wrestling, that's for them.
Her child was born.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was born
Simple
in December.
Google search.
All right, I looked it up. Yeah. Because no, I think the one you're thinking of that had the miscarriage, that's
No, I thought Alexa Bliss did too.
No, you're thinking of the what's her name? This is gonna bother me. It's the one that's dating Corey Graves.
They've now had a baby though.
Yeah, I know they've had a baby and Alexa also had hers.
Okay. So maybe I'm mixing the two of them up. Am I?
Yeah, because I know for a while it was Carmelo kept having miscarriages, which obviously that's terrible to hear. It sucks for anyone involved with that.
That's what it was. So this was from June of 23. Article from Ringside News reveals struggles with her first trimester. That's what it was with Alexa Bliss. Okay. You're right. The miscarriage news was Carmella and Corey. But last question I'm going to ask you away from wrestler baby news. For
real sad baby news.
Before we go to the men's side, I do want to ask you this to kind of put a bow on this. Becky Rhea Mania, if you're calling the shots, who wins?
I think Rhea.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is I could see a case for both. And the thing is, I ain't just like Roman Reigns. WWE Triple H has worked themselves into a corner with Rhea to where it's like Rhea and Judgment Day are so built up. The only way she's losing is at Mania in my mind. And it's gotta be somebody like, to me, it's almost like if you're not going to do it at WrestleMania, I would want it to be someone that I want to put over and catapult into like that superstar category. Do I want to waste that on Becky because she's already there?
It's just, like I said, I think it's entirely just dependent on if Becky wants to continue wrestling or not. Obviously, like I said, I don't know what's going through Becky's head. No, this is just speculation. I'm specifying that before someone.
Yeah, if it works, shoot. Like, how much of it is?
I'm insider. I'm talking to Becky as we speak on my phone. I got Becky on speed dial. But no, it's for anyone with a brain. I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Obviously, we hear about Becky and Seth talking about like their life after wrestling, and the second you start talking about that, it's like okay, it's on. The writing's on the wall. It's not super long before you're not around.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's also, like I said, wrestlers never fully stay retired. It tends to not happen. It's very rare.
Just look at Ric Flair.
Retired the first time they retire. Well, yeah, you look at Ric Flair,
Rey
Batista.
Mysterio. Nah, Rey Mysterio didn't. Did Rey retire ever?
Rey didn't retire. Rey left because he had, like, I think it was like a contract dispute or something like that. Then he went to Mexico, killed a guy, and then came back.
Jesus!
All I'm saying, Rey killed the guy. That's all I'm saying.
Allegedly.
It was deemed an accident, but
allegedly.
It ain't allegedly. It ain't allegedly.
It ain't allegedly. So let's move over. I think this one's a little bit of a not better discussion, but there's a little bit more. Do I want to say more nuance, more interest? Who needs a Rumble win
really
the most
interesting.
for the men?
Now, I'm on the opposite side of everyone. Where, look, I'm just going to say it right now. I swear to God, if CM Punk wins, I'm fighting someone.
He doesn't need to win.
I don't think he needs to win. My thing is just, I know there's people out there who want him to win. Like, doesn't need it.
Is this a Cody or bust? Is this just like the Bailey one, but it's Cody?
I don't think you need to have Cody.
Okay.
My thing is, to me, I really think they're going to have him beat Hogan's record, as much as I don't like that they're going to do that. I think the way you do it then is just like, okay, who do you want to kind of build up as that big opponent to Roman? And who do you view as that guy? Like, okay, we want to start. I mean, they've already been building this guy up. I believe I've talked to you about this, of who I think should win, much as I don't want them to win. I think they're going to have Solo win.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if I like that. When you told it,
I don't really like it either.
Well, when you told me the first time, here's what I don't like about it, and we're having this conversation. Like you and I have talked about this at like 4 a.m. But we'll have this in front of everyone because obviously you guys were not a part of it. But the thing I think needs to happen, whether you like it or not, is at Mania, and I saw a reel today that just sold me on it today. The reel I saw was vertical, cut in half, top and bottom. And on the top, it was the Once in a Lifetime Part 2 promo. The one where like John Cena's voicing it over, like talking to The Rock. And on the bottom, it was cuts of Cody and Roman. And it mapped out exactly the same to where I'm like, you know what? This kind of sold me that Cody doesn't need the Rumble win to face Roman. Cody has enough of a, hey, I need to beat you. The other thing that I think of, and this might piss some people off, does the story need to end at this Mania, or can it end in 2025? Does the story need to end in 2024? And the thing that I think about is, how do you want the bloodline to end? Do you want it to be Cody finishing the story, or do you want the bloodline to dissolve first, where in your situation, Solo wins I'm kind of taking it and booking it here. Solo wins the Rumble. Solo loses at Mania. Doesn't matter that he lost at Mania. Solo's out of the bloodline. Then between Mania to Mania, something like you do storyline, something, Jimmy's out of the bloodline. Then by next Mania, it's just Roman and Paul. That's where Cody finishes the story.
Yeah. Like that's why I think you split Solo off now. Because then, like, realistically, like, Roman's not losing until the entire bloodline's gone. Because, like, as long as there's someone who will interfere in the match, Roman will keep winning.
Yeah.
Where I think this is the easiest way to kind of, one, you can book Solo to look really good. Because the fact of, obviously, they continue to kind of build up that Roman's worried about Solo.
Yeah, that he's scared of Solo, at least.
Yeah, the like Solo like sometimes won't listen, and he looks at him and like he kind of like double checks Solo a lot. Where it's like okay, like you can kind of build into that like Roman's really scared of it, and Solo winning kind of becomes that like, oh, okay, like that's the uncomfortable reality of what's gonna happen. But like, I think it's the easiest way to go, because I do think they're gonna wait till 25 to have Roman lose and then have Cody win. Because my whole thing is just, and the main reason why I don't want Cody to win the Rumble is just because the fact of, like you said, Cody doesn't need a Rumble win to get a match at Mania. To be honest, he's the biggest star in the company. Like, it's him, Roman, and like a few other people are like the top stars in the company. They don't need, like this. He doesn't need that match. Like, Solo kind of, As much as I'm going to be honest, I've kind of doled a lot on Solo with him being in the bloodline. Mostly just because he is not Umaga. Stop treating him like Umaga. You know, like for instance, watch his stuff in NXT. Mind you, he's not an insanely great promo, but he's not bad. Like, he can talk. He has a personality. Let him use the personality.
Yeah.
Like, if you want someone who's like, you know, Umaga, how about you sign Umaga's actual son that's wrestling and is a better in-ring worker than everyone in the bloodline? I don't know if you've seen Jacob Fatu's matches.
No, I have not.
Holy dude, that dude moves. He moves. He is a big boy and he moves.
Is he the one that that either had a match or was scheduled to have a match with Senor Matt Riddle in, was it MLW?
I honestly don't know. I don't think so.
Because I know Riddle recently was scheduled to have a match against one of the Samoan brothers. I say Samoan brothers because there's a million of them. And I thought it was Fatu.
Yeah, let me. It could be.
I mean,
Fatu is their last name.
I'm pretty much for sure that it was MLW that I saw that it was. So if you can check me on this.
Okay, yeah, he is going to fight Jacob Fatu.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. It was Matt Riddle versus Fatu is the only thing. Maybe I checked that match out now because of you.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm telling you this right now. Jacob Fatu is so good. It is insane. To put this in perspective, I don't, like, he is the size of Solo, but, like, a little taller.
Yeah. And
he's like a big boy. He is actually, he does, like, Hurricane Ranas.
Wow.
Like, it is insane. It's like, it's not as impressive as like when Keith Lee did it, because Keith Lee is like the size, like, I say this in the nicest way I can, as another fellow fat man, is like built like a globe. Yeah, so like watching a fellow fat man do Hurricane Ranas and stuff is really impressive.
Man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish I could do that and not spike myself on the head. Like, to me, it's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Mine's gonna take us and deviate down a road that's different. So you keep cooking.
Yeah. Oh, because I'm gonna justify my whole thing that I'm doing with is I'm gonna do the fantasy booking thing for a second of like how I would handle like Solo winning. Basically, realistically, Solo's gonna win. They're gonna Roman's gonna kind of tease that he'll go after Seth because oh, Solo would never turn his back on me, guys. Like, Solo believes I'm the head of the table. Like, I mean, obviously, don't take promo lessons from me, please don't. But basically, just kind of goes into it to where eventually Solo will declare Roman's his challenge.
Yeah, won't
I would almost have
necessarily.
it that it's not so much of.
I'm gonna take yours and kind of fluff it up a little bit. I'm going to add to the promo where it's kind of like a Solo won't challenge me. Solo knows his place. Isn't that right, Solo? You're a good boy, right? Like something like that, like something demeaning, like that, like puts you in their place, but it's like you know what, F you. No, I am going to challenge you kind of a thing.
Yeah. Or basically it's kind of he doesn't get kicked out, he kind of forces his way out.
Yeah, where it's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, to where it's like you kind of build him up as like the badass that comes out of the bloodline. Where like before it was like, oh, like Jay left. Like realistically you have it that it's basically Jay left, but like kind of got kicked out. Jimmy talked about leaving and then came back because they ran out of stuff to do with Jimmy the second he left.
I'm going to piggyback off of that when you're done. The Jimmy part.
Yeah. Then basically you can have it that it's Jay left who was kind of kicked out. Solo just basically leaves on his own.
Yeah.
And then it's Jimmy eventually gets kicked out. And then that's how you do the dissolution of the bloodline. 'Cause to be honest, if I see one more bloodline civil war, I swear someone's getting hit.
You mean
I won't say who, but someone's getting hit.
You mean tribal combat?
Get into the tribal combat where people can't interfere. 10 seconds into the match, someone interferes. Because we don't care about our own rules.
I'm gonna take yours and go with a different angle with it. And so one of the things that I've talked to you about, and I've kind of talked to numerous people about, is I am on the soapbox that the Jimmy J WrestleMania match should not be in 2024. It should be in 2025. And I have heard from numerous people that I am wrong, that one of my biggest criticisms is there's not enough time to really build from Rumble to Mania. And like, I know that there's been things in the past, but I feel like there's one thing missing when it comes to the Jimmy J rivalry and what I think it needs to be that Mania level. And that's Jay being a champion. Now, I'm just going to say this up front. I would not do this. I did actually, I'm kind of in the middle of if I would do this or not, but this came to my head while you were talking. You said Solo win the Rumble. What if Jay wins the Rumble? And the reason why this kind of pops to my head is, so I've kind of been thinking of a fantasy booking that I want to do like I did last year for the Rumble. So I'm not going to give away everything, but I'm going to give away a little bit here. One of the things I feel the Jimmy J rivalry needs before that Mania match is Jay becoming champion. Because to me, it shows the ultimate of like Jay left, became main event Jey Uso, became a champion, and Jimmy's jealous of him because of it. That's the crux of everything. Where Jimmy stayed with Roman and got nothing because guess what? Roman didn't care about anyone else but himself. The thing that I was thinking about while you were talking about Solo and stuff. I'm like, man, in this situation, Damian Priest cashes in before the Rumble or on Rumble night before the actual Rumble itself. Let's be honest. Let's just pull the freaking trigger. Make him champ. CM Punk, Seth Rollins does not need the belt because guess what? CM Punk's gonna win. We don't need to put the belt on CM Punk. And I'm wearing a CM Punk shirt, guys. CM Punk will be a champion again. Not yet. Not yet. The story that they are telling with Seth Rollins is not a championship story. It's a grudge match story. It is a personal story. Does not need the title. Get that thing on Damian Priest ASAP. Damian Priest has the belt. What if Jay won the Rumble? What if the Final Four? Picture this, and this is complete fantasy booking. Cody Rhodes, everybody wants to see it. Solo, Jey Uso, and I'm gonna throw a curveball here with the last name. You ready for it?
Sure.
Not CM Punk. Sami Zayn. 4 guys that all have business with Roman. Sami Zayn, can he get his second chance? Can he do what he did in last year? Jey Uso, does he go and challenge Roman again? Does he go ahead and try to beat him? They had championship matches. Solo, is he going to be the new heavyweight champion? Will the bloodline have everything? Because that's kind of the storyline they would tell at the Rumble. Because you want the actual pick of I'm choosing Roman to be the, whoa, he did it. He picked Roman. And then Cody, is he going to finish the story? I would have Jay win, but here's the question about it that I just put into my own head. I'll ask you. If Jay wins the Rumble, how would you reason that he would choose Damian Priest and not Roman Reigns? How would anyone pick Damian Priest and not Roman Reigns?
I think you can kind of, because obviously they treat Roman very much like the final boss of wrestling.
Yeah.
Where, like, it could kind of be that situation of, like, Jay wants nothing to do with the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's basically like, all right, whatever. That's in my past. I don't care anymore. Like, I think that's the way you can explain it for
kind
Jay.
of already put
Cody,
him in the past.
Yeah, like, he's already moved past it.
Mm-hmm.
Where basically he's like, I want to make a name for myself away from the bloodline. Where, realistically, he already has.
Thank
where
you.
it's like,
thank you. Keep going. Keep going.
It basically, yeah, it's like make his own name. With Cody, realistically, you couldn't tell that otherwise with Cody because obviously everyone already knows the story. So unless Cody's gonna be like, "Oh, I finished the story," but not with Roman. This is another belt my dad never held.
It's more on the other three. It's more on the Sammy. It's more on the Jay. It's more on the Solo. Like that's always been the big thing that people have posed out to me when I said this, or posed out to me, is why wouldn't you just choose Roman? Here's the only thing I'm differing on, and when I do that video, we'll see where I solidified. One of the things I'm starting to think now in this moment while doing this podcast is that it would just add to the jealousy of Jimmy if Jay won the Rumble, got a Mania match for the heavyweight title, beat Damian Priest at Mania, he's a main champ. Because I do think that we need main event champion Jay at some point before that match with Jimmy. That's the bottom line, because Ricky Widmer said so.
Yeah, I think it's just... I mean, I honestly wouldn't be opposed to Jay winning. My main thing is just... It's my one gripe I have with the Rumble this year. It feels really predictable who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the last couple of years, like, you can kind of get the feeling of it. Like, you could kind of tell Drew was going to win when he won. You can kind of tell a lot of times some people are going to win.
I will say this, there's only one way I would have CM Punk win it. And I've said this from the beginning. The only way I have Punk win it is if, and it doesn't seem like they're telling this storyline, but if they kind of set it up within the week, if it was Seth saying, I am not going to give you a Mania match. I will never give you a Mania match. To where Punk, the only way he's getting his hands on Seth is if he wins the Rumble. They haven't really set that up, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so. Sorry, I'm just double checking.
Yeah. Like, that's the only way I have Punk win the Rumble. Because, like, you don't... Yet again, I don't think the title needs to be on Seth. So if you're going to have Damian cash in at the Rumble, Punk doesn't need to win. However, if you have Damian cash in before the Rumble, does that spoil things? And then people go, oh, well, CM Punk's not winning.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, I have always just held the opinion of there are stories that don't need a Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I know one of the things that they did, or that they're doing, is basically it's like, oh, Punk's getting his Mania main event that he never got. By the way, all I'm saying, that's the biggest fucking consolation prize I think I've ever heard in my entire life for someone being a baby 14 years ago. Well, just like with because the whole thing that, like, Punk's original run in the company, he made a big deal about how, like, I never main evented Mania.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, and now this is where I get to be the CM Punk hater.
Top stars usually
shocker.
main event Mania, just saying.
Yeah. My whole thing is, like, it's, to me, it doesn't feel the same if, like, we all kind of know it's like, that's the only reason you came back, because they told you you're going to get one.
Yeah.
Of where it's like, that, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But, like, to me, I think it's just, especially with guys, and I use Punk as an example, of where it's like, realistically, how long is Punk going to be around?
Not very long. Maybe like 3 years at the most.
Like what? Because I was going to say, because wasn't his contract like 3 years?
Yeah. That's why I say 3 years at the most. I don't think he goes further than that. Because, like, one of the things that I will say, and this is kind of a different conversation, in the Discord, join it down below, we had the discussion of, like, MJF and, like, what if he takes the whole year off? Or, like, let's say he signed, like, one of the things we said, what if he signs a 5-year deal with AEW? Like, Jake said, oh, well, he could just jump to WWE after those 5 years. And we're going through a lot of the wrestlers. Like, CM Punk right now is 45. If he goes 3 more years, he's 48. Hell, if he goes 5 more years, he's 50. Is he even going to get to 50?
I don't think I think it's very much, once this contract is done, he's done.
I think that he's done in ring, but he's not done with wrestling.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like if he's one of the people who opens a wrestling school or like he works backstage or something.
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. You know what it's going to be?
Huh.
When he's done with his contract, Shawn Michaels will step down as the on TV face of NXT. CM Punk will be the, like, what William Regal was to NXT. He's going to be that. He's going to be working with that talent. Like the commissioner. Yeah, he's going to, well, not just that, but he's actually going to work with them because it seems like he's been hanging around NXT a lot since he came back.
Yeah. And then everyone's, I'm not going to say originally what I was going to say everyone is because I don't want to be an ass to everybody.
Yeah.
But everyone just saw the pictures of him with women and the brain rot kicked in.
Yeah, yeah.
Of where, you know, I'll say it, I don't care. The porn addicts came out in force when they saw him standing next to women.
Jeez.
They can't realize that, you know, you can stand next to a woman and not think about that.
Yeah, yeah. But, like, that's what I think of is, like, he's going to... Are you talking about him with him and Roxanne and Cora? Yeah,
because there's the picture... Yeah, because there's the picture of him with Roxanne, the one with Cora, him with Nikita, and, like, there's no pictures of him with the guys. And everyone's like, I understand why he's hanging around the women. It's like, dude... Stop watching porn, you absolute clowns. Your fucking brain's rotten.
So, I don't know about the Nikita Lyons one, but the Roxanne and Cora Jade one is because they have, like, they went to every signing for Punk. Like the one that
it's like they literally grew up watching him.
The post that they had, I laughed out loud because he posted that, like, hey AJ, I ran into our kids. And then Roxanne commented on Instagram and made a comment about like her and Cora both commented, and it was like they were fighting like siblings, like fighting for their parents' affection.
Yeah. Where it's like, that's the thing of where it's like, people stop making it creepy. Like, he's hanging around the town. It's sorry that he just took pictures with those three.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mostly because the fact of everyone just realistically, the only reason anyone cared about Nikita's is because,
yeah.
You know,
we know. We know.
Yeah, we know. I've seen enough pictures and videos on Twitter that, X.
Yeah, X. But, like, getting back to the actual wrestling part is, like, for the men, I feel like, I don't know. I agree with you where it feels predictable, and it's probably going to be Cody. Cody wins. Lamau even. Boom, he wins at Mania.
Yeah, Lamau even.
I'm telling you, I am going to do dirty things in Minecraft if Cody wins the Rumble and loses at Mania.
So, you know, you have to say, like, you're going to hurt someone. You say dirty things. That has a very different connotation.
Okay. I am going to do dirty, violent things in Minecraft. Is that better?
It's better.
You're right.
Dirty things.
That made it sound like I was excited for that. I am not excited. Like, it will be the biggest waste of a Rumble if Cody wins and then loses at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Like, I think it's just...
Because I'll be completely honest, Soapy, I'll get this in here. The Hulk Hogan record doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, what a shock. You're telling me that the record that no one could tell you how long Hulk Hogan held the belt for before doesn't matter?
I'll say more. I'll say Reigns period makes more of, like, that counts more. People remember that more than, how many days did he hold the belt?
Well, it's also the fact of, like, because I've had this conversation, because I had it with Retro.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, me and Retro are on opposite sides of, like, everything in wrestling. It is actually insane how little me and Retro agree on. If anyone ever sees the Discord and me and Retro talk, I don't think there's a single time me and Retro have agreed on anything in wrestling. It is actually insane. Because, like, because Retro's on the side of, like, yeah. Well, because it's like, because Retro's on the side of, and mind you, I may be speaking out of term of what Retro thinks now, but, like, at the time,
he'll let you know in the
no one cares
section.
how long the reign is. Yeah. Where I was, like, because we had the conversation, I had said, I'm like, the length of the reign doesn't matter, because no one cares.
Yeah.
Because if I went up to someone like, what's John Cena's longest reign? They couldn't tell me.
Well, it's not even that. It's a predetermined, like, I hate to pull this card, but it's predetermined.
Predetermined sport.
Yeah, if it was UFC, oh, that might be a big deal because you're getting punched in the face for real. I hate to be a mark, but it's like it's a predetermined sport. Like,
I mean, to be honest, we're marks by even doing this podcast.
No, I get that, but like there's a part of me where I'm the type of wrestling fan where even though I know that it's scripted, I get into the storylines and like it's a TV program that you watch, just like any sitcom that you watch. And it's just like, I don't care how long X wrestler held it, because the one thing I will say, Soapy, and I'm going to stand on this soapbox yet again, one of the things I hate about wrestling now compared to when I was a kid, it's getting better now on Raw with Triple H. I'm going to say on Raw with Triple H. The thing I loved about being a kid watching wrestling is I could tune into a Raw, titles on the line, and you'd be like, whoa, the title's on the line. Oh, and you like get excited because you didn't another thing, you didn't expect it. I think now, because of the world we live in, everything has to be pre-announced. I am with Jake. I hate that we know who's going to be in the Rumble. Don't tell me anyone. Let me be surprised. Unless there's a storyline reason of like, I'm going to be number one. I'm going the whole way. Like something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, because kind of going back a little bit to...
Soapy's like, I'm going to let you cool down.
Yeah. Oh, but like, it's kind of with the whole thing with the record and everything. Of when I said like records don't matter, or like the length of the reign doesn't matter, I'm like, it's who you build up during it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's basically the way I've always looked at it is like, okay, for baby faces, it's how your reign ends and how much I hate the person who took the belt off of you. And then it's for heels, it's who did you make me love during your reign?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing of like, realistically, and we've talked about this a million times at this point of dunking on the bloodline. But like, me, my thing is of where it's like, if you just have Cody win, I already like Cody.
Yeah.
I don't need you to keep trying to get me to like Cody. I've loved him for a while.
See, but this
I liked him when he was originally in WWE.
This is the problem with the finish the story part. Is if Cody doesn't beat Roman,
if I enter the Rumble.
if King Shrimpy.
If King Shrimpy enters the Rumble, no one's ready for it.
But no, if Cody doesn't beat Roman at the Rumble, that's not finishing the story. And I feel like the way they mapped the story out last year, they put Baby in a corner to where it's like, I'm going to win the belt that my dad never won and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, that's a Mania moment. You can't do that at a SummerSlam. You can't do that at a Money in the Bank. You can't do that at a Survivor Series. That's a Mania moment. And now it finished the story, unless it's against Roman. Like, if they never did the finish the story thing, then you could realistically vie for, hey, Cody will get his chance again. He's going to fight for it. Might not be this year. Might be next year. Might be against LA Knight. Might be against X other person. But because they did the whole finish the story, it's got to be Cody Roman, and it's got to be Cody winning. Like, Cody winning the belt for the first time at a SummerSlam will not hit the same, and it's not a WrestleMania moment. This is the one that's WrestleMania, has to happen at WM.
Yeah, and it's just the whole thing of like, it's also realistically of like, it's in such a bad spot right now because the fact of like, because now since you put them on two separate brands, because let's say you don't plan on breaking Hogan's record.
Let's be honest,
for some reason
there's one other person we have not even mentioned in this whole cauldron of just messed up storyline.
Yeah, like, the whole thing for me is just the fact of, like, they made it even more annoying with, like, the finish the story thing, because obviously Cody's talked about it. He hates that people keep bringing it up.
Was I giving a good hint, or did it look like I was just giving you a seizure look? The Rock. Like, how is he going to fit into this, too? Like, we haven't even mentioned him.
Yeah. Well, it's also going to be is it the stupid they tease the fans because realistically The Rock won't be around because
I
Rock will
hope.
be in like 10 different movies.
I hope.
Yeah, like my thing is just I swear to God,
I hope.
I say this right now, I will hurt people outside of Minecraft. If The Rock wins the Rumble, I swear I'm going to hurt someone.
Would it be the worst?
Like, yes. I think it'd be even worse than the one time Batista came back and won it.
I would rather have solo. I would rather have your solo storyline. Like if we're kicking Cody's WrestleMania moment for a whole nother year, 2025, I'd rather your solo one than The Rock winning. It's
my whole
like
thing is just
I would love to see The Rock go up against Roman, but it's just nostalgia. That's the only reason we're having that match.
yeah, because like I mean, if we even like let's say we talked. Excuse me. All right, I burped. But let's say like we talked about people who like realistically they're not going to win, but like could use like a Royal Rumble to set up something.
Yeah.
Like, I think Drew would be a person of where it's like, okay, you can finally get it. He actually gets a match.
Dude, so no. Let me throw this out here with Drew because I was gonna say him, but then we went on a roll with Cody and stuff. Damian cashes in before the Rumble or on Rumble night. Drew wins. There is actually a thought process there. What means more to you? Going after Roman or going after Damian and the Judgment Day? Because he's got beef now with both.
Yeah. Where it's like, that's the thing. It's like, me, realistically, also, one, let's be completely honest here, Damian's probably going to have a failed cash in.
Please no. Don't
like
speak that into existence.
His reign, it feels like it's going to happen.
Is that because he's not a Trips guy, or is that because Vince was the one that
I think he's a Trips guy. I think it's that's the way they're going to kind of start a lot of the problems in Judgment Day. Is because I think it's going to be R-Truth's going to cost him his cash in.
Or does R-Truth help him, and that's how R-Truth officially gets into the Judgment Day?
See, I think
R-Truth
messes up too many times.
Can I do a mini booking that would be a complete swerve, and I would love it?
Go ahead.
Damian comes out to cash in. JD comes out to help first. JD messes up. R-Truth comes, saves the day, pulls him over it, and that's what JD is now out. R-Truth is in. It would be a complete swerve because usually R-Truth is messing it up, and this time it would be JD, and R-Truth would have saved the day.
Yeah, like I think it's just I don't know. Every time
when do you pull the trigger too?
I mean, just do it at Rumble. Get the stupid briefcase off of him. Because I'm so tired of all like the half cash-ins that he does. Of where like
Monday,
they start the cash-in. It's like, hey, well, literally, since he's had the thing, he's like half cashed it in 10 times. It's like, you guys know the second he hands the briefcase over, the match starts, right? Like he gets his ding, ding, ding.
No, because we get those stupid moments of in the past where they would hand it, and then the ref would like go to hand it over, and the ref has to hand it to the ring guy. Then they have to do the announce. Like there is so many times in the past they have used that of like, well, they were handing it over and the bell didn't ring. Yeah, you want it to be exact though. You want it to be immediate. Hand over, ding, ding, ding.
Yes, because it's stupid. I don't need the person to be like, oh, Jamie and Priest just cashing in. I have eyes. Okay?
I have eyes.
Literally, I have eyes.
Here,
if you're an audio listener to Wrestling Only, you're a clown. I'm sorry, you're the whole circus. The Ringley brothers have lost their clown, and it seems you're on the loose.
So at the Rumble, very quickly, at the Rumble, we only have technically 4, both Rumbles. But the only matches we have set up right now are the Fatal 4-Way for Roman's title, and then Logan Paul.
People are going to get stacked on top of each other.
And then Logan Paul, Kevin Owens for the U.S. belt.
And can't wait to watch Kevin Owens lose.
Like what? How many more matches you think there'll be? Will we get 6 matches in 2 Rumbles or 4 matches in 2 Rumbles?
I think we get 4 matches, 2 Rumbles. Because Rumbles normally take, about an hour each?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll get like 4 matches, maybe even just 3.
Then, if you're cashing in at the Rumble, who is Seth facing at the Rumble?
Well, let's see. Who randomly is going to have beef with Seth all of a sudden?
Drew? No. Let me pull up this roster that I had up.
Let's see. Who can we randomly just have him have beef with?
So the Raw roster consists of, I'm just going to go name by name. You tell me yes or no. Akira Tozawa.
As much as I'd love it, no.
Apollo Crews.
No.
Braun Strowman.
If he's healthy, maybe, but no.
Creed Brothers.
I also see you skip past Bronson.
Oh, yeah, Bronson Reed.
Creed Brothers, no.
He's not on this one. Oh, there he is. Chad Gable.
Oh.
CM Punk or Cody.
I mean, Punk maybe. Cody, no.
Dexter Lumis.
Oh.
Any of Judgment Day besides Damian.
I swear, if we get Finn Seth one more time, I swear, I'm gonna hurt someone.
What if we get Seth Jinder 2.0?
Please don't.
Jinder Seth
last
2.
time we fought Jinder.
You can't hinder the Jinder, Soapy.
Yeah, he's like, you hindered me once, but hinder me once, shame on you.
Johnny Gargano, no. Kaiser,
honestly,
no.
I think one of the easiest ones you could do, if I had to say, this is what I would do.
Ricochet.
Just have it be Drew.
Yeah.
Like, have it be Drew, Seth.
Because then Damian
Seth
makes
beats
sense.
Drew. Yeah. Well, honestly, I mean, even if you also kind of want to build into a way for, Drew to really want to go after Damian Priest, Drew beats Seth, Damian cashes in, Drew now holds the shortest reign for the belt, because it'll be like a minute. He then wins the Rumble, and he's like, hey, guess who's coming for you, dummy? Also, this is a way for Triple H. Reigns don't have to be an entire year.
Yeah.
Shocker, I know. Scary to think that I don't have to have a belt on a guy for a year.
I'm just hoping that it's not a failed cash-in. I'm just so hoping it's not. What did you say?
I said, I'm just hoping it's not a member of Judgment Day that faces Seth, because,
yeah.
Look, I am dead serious. If I see one more Seth Finn match, I am going to throw bricks at people. Because the fact of I have seen Seth feud with Judgment Day for damn near the whole year. I don't care anymore. I don't want to continue it anymore. All right, look, I'm tired of it, Grandpa.
It's too damn bad.
That's what I get every time. Every Judgment Day feud is that's too damn bad.
So, before we end, because let's be honest, you said Solo. I would say the one that needs it the most for a Rumble win. I don't know if there's anyone who, there's people that need it, but the ones who need it aren't going to win. Like, I would say maybe a Jay, or what if, throwing this out here right at the end, failed cash in from Damian wins the Rumble.
I mean, that's always a chance. My thing is just, I want them to throw an actual surprise. I don't want, much as it feels predictable of either Cody or CM Punk winning, I want this to genuinely actually surprise me. Triple H, I will never criticize you. I mean, let's run it, all right? I mean, at this point, run it. I don't care. You know what? Wade Barrett gets in the ring. He wins.
Andrade comes back and wins the Rumble.
Oh, God. Shinsuke wins it, and now we get to have the Seth Shinsuke feud again. He's like, I'm here to break your back again, Seth.
Last question I want to throw your way. I told you I was going to throw this to you right at the end. Mainly, I'm throwing it to you because as you guys are watching this later today or at some point today, They've probably already had a showcase because they were talking about this. But WWE 2K24, Soapy, the one thing I just wanted to say that I'm so excited about is it seems like we're getting, I'm calling them quality of life things. Special guest referee matches. Today, as we're recording, looks like coffin matches are going to be in. And the one thing that people are saying,
that could be a leak through showcase.
It could be. Well, here's the thing. Two questions. One, I watched a video on it yesterday. I think the guy's name was Assembled. He's one of the big WWE 2K YouTubers. And he mentioned how don't expect anything like huge, like GM mode or war games, that it's going to be like a lot of like refining things. In your mind, do we need something like, oh, boom, here's a new mode like GM mode, or like last year where it was like, boom, here's war games in the game? Because it seems like there's a group of people that are like, yes, give me things that I want. Make my universe mode better. Make GM mode better. Just tweak what you have before you go ahead and give me more new things. Or would you fall on the side of some I've seen on Reddit, a very terrible place sometimes where only negativity
What do you
goes.
mean? Reddit's the perfect place. There's never a time anyone on Reddit's ever wrong or out of base with anything.
There's the group of people I've seen on Reddit that are like, oh, so it's WWE 2K23.5. Which do you think it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Or do you think it's just going to be last year's game with a 0.5 after?
I mean, to be honest, I think it's just fix the stuff that's already there and make everything that's already there better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it's 23.5, I also look at it this way, that'd still be better than just 23.
Yeah.
Of like, give us a couple extra things. Realistically, get rid of the story mode. No one cares about the story mode. No one
My
plays
Rise?
it. Yeah, get rid of My Rise. No one plays it. One, either that, or actually hire people who do voice acting.
Yeah.
Please. For the love of God, I am so sick and tired of my guy being like, I am going to beat you up, Miz. God, do I hate
They
the
actually
Miz.
get the WWE guys to voice over the stuff,
Yes,
right?
and none of them try. It sucks every year. Like, none of them have tried since, like, the old SmackDown versus Raw game.
I will say the only reason I'm playing
fact-
through Mind Rise is because I have to unlock some stuff.
Yeah. Like, no one plays the mode. It's boring.
Yeah. It's so boring.
And, like, yeah, well, because, like, no one who's in it, mind you, and I understand, like, voice acting's hard for some people, blah, 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 blah. Look, I'm going to be honest here. You guys literally asked someone on the street, like, hey, do you want to voice act in this game? Literally, like, get someone who actually tries.
Yeah.
Okay, also one, and I say this in the nicest way I can, don't get Randy to voice anything in the game. Every time Randy's a voice actor in anything, he sucks.
Oh.
I will never get over the old SmackDown versus Raw games where, like, Randy Orton, RKO Johnson, he's like, did you see that? He attacked me. It's like, all right, Randy, you literally couldn't make the sound like you care any less.
Did you see that? He attacked me.
Yeah, like, just get people that actually, you know, try.
Mm-hmm.
Like, also, like, it's also realistically, a lot of times, you don't need the voice actors.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to the wrestlers, when they're talking backstage, you don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when you could tell the wrestlers really don't care. They'd literally want to be doing anything else with their time.
Well,
I also won't get over, like, one time you could talk to Alexa Bliss in one of the games. She's like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my, like, dude, you literally don't even sound like you care.
That's on the female My Rise. You talk to Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, it's also in last year. I talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, ew.
Oh, it's you.
Cold shoulder, I just got here.
Oh.
But, like, it's just, that's the thing. To me, get rid of My Rise, it stinks. Stop focusing on it. No one cares. Like, make GM mode better. Make universe mode better. AKA, add promos back to the universe mode, please.
I was going to get to that. One of the things I've been hearing from people is that they might not add promos the way that we were used to them. They may add promos in through the rivalry actions. Is that good enough for you, or do you want promos exactly like they were the way?
It's good enough. As long as I have a way of BSing what people say, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just give me some way to do promos. I don't want to have to sound like a loser when I'm like, this guy comes out to the middle of the ring and says this, like, You can be a loser and just have them come out on their own and be like, yeah, that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. But like, yeah, the thing that I'm looking at is, so WWE put out a thing on Instagram. I think it was like a reel or something. I think it was. And Xavier Woods said something at the end. He said something about how this game's going to be really good, really special. It's going to be, said something along the lines of like, it's going to give you control of like the like biggest roster in wrestling. And it made me think, the way he said it, like, is this going to be the biggest roster we have had in a WWE video game? Because like some of the people have said, there haven't been a lot of releases heading into this 2K game.
Yeah, like, especially, I mean, it's mostly into the Triple H. The most releases we've had was like stuff that happened behind the scenes with the merger.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking like wrestlers.
Yeah, like, I think I'm also, there's been maybe like 5-6 people that have been released like in 2023. And even that, like, one of them is Matt Riddle for being Matt Riddle.
Yeah. Like, what, we might not get Dolph Ziggler, no Matt Riddle.
Yeah, like, the guys who aren't in the company anymore, we won't get them. But, like, realistically, we'll still get Bobby Roode. Like, as much as I know Jake was like, we're not going to get Bobby Roode. Like, do you
think CM Punk's there day one? Still.
I don't think so. I think they'll do CM Punk as a DLC.
Okay.
As much as it's stupid, because I'm going to be completely honest, 90% of the time when they do DLC, it's people that no one cares about in reality.
I think they're going to rush. I think they're going to rush to get them in day one to sell copies.
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
do you think Cody's the cover?
Probably. I know there's the rumor that Rhea's going to be one of the covers, that there's going to be 2 versions.
Okay.
That there'll be like the mommy cover and the Cody cover. And I'm like, I really hope that it says mommy on the cover. So I would love the mommy when cover. I buy that one.
I would get the mommy cover.
It's like, put mommy cover on the thing and I'll buy it in a heartbeat. Yeah. I don't care. I'll buy a physical copy of a game.
The last thing I'll mention is, you brought up the showcase. And one of the things I've heard about it is, I'm not against this. They're saying that there's rumors that the showcase might not be like last year. It might not be focused on one wrestler where it's like, this is his showcase. I'm trying to think. Before John Cena, it was Rey Mysterio was 22. Yeah. Like, it's not going to just be Rey's. It's not going to just be John's. That there's a rumor that they could do like a best of WrestleMania, like 40 years of WrestleMania. And that's the showcase, like the best moments of WrestleMania. I will say I'm more excited about that because of like the one thing other people have brought up is there is more unlockables that I'm excited about that way. More WrestleMania arenas, more belts, like there are so many things tied into some of these moments, different wrestlers, arenas, belts, that it's like, yeah, give me that if it's good. I don't need it to be a showcase that's just about one wrestler. I don't know how you feel about that, though.
I honestly really like when they do the one wrestler thing. Mm-hmm. It's primarily just because, I mean, like,
the Cena one was kind of very well done.
Yeah, like, I liked both of them. Like, as much as, like, to be honest, cutting Dominic as the kind of secret thing for the Rey one was kind of stinky.
Because then I couldn't play as Dominic unless I...
Well, not even just that, of where it's like, that's the Dominic I didn't care about.
Yeah, but that was before he was Dom.
Yeah. It's like, that's when it's like, you're boring, Dom. Like, to me, I like when they do just like the individual focused ones. Just because, like, I like hearing from the wrestlers of when they talk about their own match.
Who would you have it be then? Would it be Cody?
I think the Undertaker's, they're really easy.
Okay.
To be honest, like, I think it should be wrestlers that have a very long career. I wouldn't do Cody. Like, me, if I had to say the ones that I'd want, Randy would be one of them, because Randy's had such a long career and he's fought like 5 million people at this point. I think you could do Randy.
Triple H.
Kurt Angle would be one that I'd like. Triple H, Shawn Michaels. As much as I don't really care for Shawn Michaels, like, Shawn Michaels would be one. Like, it's just the people with long storied careers, I want those.
Goldberg.
I'm gonna be honest. We honestly could do Goldberg. Like, as much as I don't like it, we could get Goldberg.
They could do a Roman one.
Let's leave that till I'm dead.
Till I'm dead.
Oh. No, like, I think one of the things that would be a really good thing is take the rest, like, I would almost say do every other year of, like, active wrestler retired, active retired, active retired. Because, like, for instance, I think one of the really cool ways that you could do it is, like, for instance, this year I would do Undertaker personally. Undertaker, he has a long storied history. You can get a whole bunch of wrestlers from it. AKA, give me best Kane. Give me first mask Kane.
Oh, yes.
Also put Slow Chemical Burn Kane in.
Yes.
Pay for it, you cowards. I want Slow Chemical Burn in the game. How am I supposed to give King Shrimpy cool themes if you don't put the cool themes in?
That's another thing people are saying, that this year it may not, like, it may be locked just to Cody Rhodes again, but there's a good chance Down Straight, who's the band that does Cody's theme, tweeted out when asked, like, is it going to be locked just to Cody? And if you change the tire, will the theme get muted? They mentioned that they just got paperwork on it. So hopefully there's something in place that I can use Alta tires with Cody Rhodes and it won't mute his theme song.
Yeah. I mean, like, my thing is always just...
Otherwise, I'll just mod his theme song in.
Like, if you're on PC, you can basically do anything. PC doesn't care. Like, they could be like, guys, don't put this in there. That's illegal. They're like, I'm going to do it anyways.
Jake and I have been playing WWE a lot, and we were like, oh, let's do it on PC so we can mod stuff in. I figured out how to do it, and it is the best decision we ever made. Best decision we ever made, Soaps.
Yeah. And yeah, Shrimpy gets to come out the Battle Scars. Greatest song for a jobber ever. Yeah, like, I think it's just doing things like that. Like, I wouldn't mind the best of WrestleMania. The only thing is, there's been some real stinky WrestleManias. And I mean, like, some real stinky ones. I don't want, like, this is like...
What if...
I don't want...
Tell me... Fantasy booking.
Oh, God,
here.
that's how we get Donald Trump in the game.
Yes! What if they had a deal with Trump to basically that one of the unlockables is you can get, even if it's manager Trump. I would create a wrestler and make Trump my manager like that. I'd let him talk for me.
Oh, God. Please no. That is the big match of that Mania.
King Shrimpy, he's the best wrestler I've seen.
He's a great guy. He's going to make this country great again. Great champion.
He's going to make WWE great again. His shrimp might be small, but his power is mighty.
He's got a small shrimp. I said, Shrimpy, you got a small shrimp.
I didn't say that. People say that.
He told me himself it's small. I didn't see it. Like, it's... Like, I don't want them to, like, the only reason I don't want the best of the Manias is just because, like I said, there's been some real stink Manias.
Have
we had to do WrestleMania
gotten something like that before, though?
No, and to be completely honest, the only thing I would want them to do is do the highlight of Manias, where, like, the Manias were actually good.
Yeah.
Like, don't give me the first one. I don't want Lawrence Taylor in my game. That's the highlight of WrestleMania 1 is Lawrence Taylor.
No. They got to have the Warrior in it.
Oh, that's not the first WrestleMania. That's like the third one.
I know. I'm just early on.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be one of them. But, like, I don't want it to where, like, one of them is realistically Mike Tyson is, like, an important person in a Mania.
Dude, that's how you get...
Dennis Rodman to be a playable wrestler.
That's how we get Tyson in the game, so you can use him in your special guest referee matches.
That's also how I can get it that Mike Tyson gets to cut a promo, and I can be like, listen here.
By the way, I love today, Jake posted in a DM to me about the coffin match thing. And because now I'm on PC and I'm a modder, the GIF I sent was Sting and Darby like waiting in the rafters. Because you know I'm going to have so many coffin matches with Darby Allin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I think it's really easy just to I would stick to like the individual wrestler one.
Mhm.
Like I think the only way I'd
Okay.
like if they did the like the best of WrestleMania is if you only take the absolute peaks of WrestleMania. I really don't. Like I said, I don't want like the stink ones. I don't want like
Yeah.
the highlight of where it's Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez where he got chloroformed. I don't want that. All right.
Oh,
I know
think-
that's what I'd get with an Undertaker. They wouldn't put.
I think they'll stick to main events.
Yeah, like I mean that was technically a main event.
I tend to
All I'm
try
saying.
to forget about it. Forget about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, I think it's just the. I personally would like to stick with the individual. If they do a WrestleMania, just please make it the good ones. I don't want stink WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, Soapy, we're back. Back officially.
Be back, baby.
Every 2 weeks is when we're going to be recording. Remember, if you want to get these early, check out our Patreon down below. Support the channel so we can do more cool things for you guys. Go ahead, check out that Discord. If you are not in it already, we have a wrestling channel in there. We have all these other channels, all the sports, all the stuff that we love talking about with the community. Become a part of the greatest community in the internet, in the universe down below. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, my Twitter, Soapy's Twitter, MVP Twitter, all the cool places. And obviously let us know what you think about the Royal Rumble down below in the comment section. That's going to do it for Soapy, for myself. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.